That's exactly it. It's all about doing as well as you can be. Absolutely, 100%. Other than that, yeah, things are going well. Been as busy as ever. How about you?
Well, I'm stocked up on toilet paper, so that's a good thing. And other than that,
So that's the reason why there's another shortage. You've been
well,
uh, you've been going to town on it.
we're trend watchers, right? Right. So we watch the
That's
trends
exactly right.
of the stocks, and we saw the trends of people getting toilet paper. So yeah, I mean, if it hits crypto as well, I gotta have toilet paper.
Yeah, that makes sense too. We saw that at the beginning of COVID, and now they're talking about monkeypox too. So toilet paper always seems like a good grab when you're out.
Nah, kidding, obviously. No, no, no. Things been great, man. Gotta be honest. Well, even though it's what everyone calls a bear, and obviously, yeah, okay, liquidity isn't high. Uh, w there's a lot of projects still building, you know. I mean, decent projects, not just projects who take a few trades, slap them together, and hey, out comes an NFT. Um, no, like decent projects actually trying to innovate. So that's what always happens during the bears, right? I mean, if it's not the ICOs of 2017, it was NFTs in early 2018. There's always something that comes out.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean that 2018 to I guess mid 2020 period was it seemed like such a quiet time in crypto and even NFTs. But as you mentioned, like things were being built, things were growing, projects were getting off the ground, people were coming together. Of course, a lot of things kind of went to zero and disappeared. A lot of those ICOs that were kind of vapor, anyways. But in the midst of all of that rubble, a lot of great stuff came out of that, and NFTs are definitely one of them.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Can you still hear me all right? Because I
You sound
just
great, man.
plugged
Yeah,
in my. Oh, okay, there we go. There we go. Just plugged in my headset that way. All right.
fantastic. Yeah,
So
so I'm
how's
just
FMC doing, by the way?
FMC is good, man. Yeah, he's just he's a little bit under the weather, so sometimes a good day off, just unplugging and getting some R&R. I think is in order. We were chatting a little bit before our show this morning, and he just said I'm not up for it today, which is totally fine. I mean, everybody
Yeah,
is
dude.
gets to
Obviously.
that point, and I'll be honest with you. I think the 8 or 9 months that we've been doing that show, this is the first time he's ever woke up in the morning and been like, just like I need a day. So, more than
Just
happy
when
for
it
him
was my
to.
turn to have an AMA. Okay, I see how it is.
Yeah, I don't think it was anything related to that, but
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
yeah,
Obviously.
of
No.
course.
Hope he gets well soon.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'll wish for a speedy recovery. That, of course, being the reason why there's not any of the jammers before the show, but just having some pre-show banter with my good friend Aikon. We actually go back quite a little bit now from
Whew.
Alphaman and the BitClout days too.
Eons. I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's literally eons in crypto time. Before the Big Bang. No, so
That's
yeah.
Man, I swear, if the crypto thing doesn't work out for you, you have a future narrating like science fiction documentaries or something like that, like a Neil deGrasse Tyson type thing.
In a
I'm in. You
world.
said the Big Bang, and I'm like, oh my god, I feel like I'm about to learn something.
Yeah, not actually not a lot of sensible words come from my mouth normally.
But you make it sound great while they're coming out, so
That's the
no
thing.
worries there.
That's the thing. As long as it sounds, it's the same thing with NFTs, right? As long as it looks good, it's gonna be good until it's not.
Yeah, I mean that's the general thesis I live by sometimes, right? With when I'm buying NFTs, I'm like, oh, it looks good, so it's got to be a good start, right? I'm gonna take a second to set the room up here. Now we've been going for about 5 minutes, and I see some people filing in. This, of course, is our weekly Terrestrial Thursday Spaces hosted by Star Wolves. I am R2DGen on the Star Wolves account today, and we are hosting our good friend Icon who's going to be talking about Copium Wars as well as our, typical P2E discussion around the broader stroke kind of ideas. So we're going to be jumping in. I'm very excited to have a conversation with him because Aikon is an incredible wealth of knowledge. I mean, when he starts talking about stuff, don't let the modesty fool you. This guy knows what he's talking about when it comes down to the development, the P2E, NFTs in general. He's been around the block. We kind of spent a lot of time in Alpha Mint together over the last almost year now, which is crazy to me. And now here we are talking Star Wolves, talking Copium Wars, talking P2E, and all things NFTs. So, Icon, welcome up to the stage. It is an absolute pleasure to have you join me up here.
Well, thank you for having me, obviously. And well, it's like you said. I mean, yes, I'm humble because I know that there's a lot more people who know a lot more than me, you know?
Yeah, never want to be the smartest person in the room. There's always going to be someone you're going to learn from, right? Like, and that's important to remember too. Is always be learning, always be absorbing information from all of the people. And there's some incredibly brilliant people in this space, and it's been really amazing to just get to interact and network with them. I mean, it's such a small ecosystem that reaching out to people, connecting with people is a pretty easy thing. You don't really get that. You don't get to go knock on the door of the CEO of a Fortune 500 company and just sit down and have a conversation with him. But in NFTs, a lot of these project founders are just coming from humble beginnings and really realistically haven't been doing this for much longer than a year. So and this is kind of ties into like being in a bear market. There's incredible opportunity to get out there, knock on some doors, network with some people, and learn from them as well. Because most people are um, incredibly humble and incredibly willing to give you their time and energy. Um, let's start with you. Let's talk about your crypto journey, how you got first started in cryptocurrencies, where that led to down the road with NFTs, and basically how you got to where you are right this very moment and what you're working on.
All right. So, technically, my journey starts in 2012. Um, so to give a little bit more of my full background, I'm actually well, I do somewhat of consultancy towards startups and scale-ups, right? Mostly tech oriented. And in 2012, the first, well, let's say the first equation or the first question arose towards, well, should we use blockchain technology or not? In a B2B context, it was more supply chain oriented. That was the first interaction with actual blockchain technology. And of course, whoever says blockchain technology says cryptocurrencies nowadays, right? So fast forward to, I'm gonna say 2018, where I had helped well quite a few of the startups and scale-ups to actually make the decision. Okay, should we use blockchain technology or not? Right? In 2018, I actually actually got my first NFT. You know, and that was Ether Tulips. Still remember that one. Um, and from there, actually, it just started going. It just started rolling from there. Never really got into the big league, let's say, like the whole flipping thing wasn't my thing until like half 2021, right after. You know what? Actually, it's always the same thing, right? Hindsight is 2020. I should have held those damn apes. I should have held those damn Kongs. That's always the same thing. But yeah, no. So yeah, I didn't even mint them. Saw them, was like, hey, that's cool, but yeah, not gonna do that. So yeah,
I
fast.
have a similar amount of cope when you say bored apes. Don't you worry. It was presented to me on a silver platter at
I know,
point
right?
0.3 ETH, and I took a pretty large position in a pure shit coin that, well, I could just tell you how that trade, in hindsight, went. That's actually fascinating, though, because I actually didn't realize that your background goes back to 2012 and that companies back then were really pursuing blockchain as a technology to integrate beyond, I'm assuming, just your
Well,
standard Bitcoin.
actually, the technology of blockchain goes, well, ledger technology, um, dates back to 2008, where the first trial was done on a B2B level. You know, and in most cases, it's mostly either healthcare oriented. What it was mostly either healthcare oriented or supply chain oriented, because those are more simple things for which you need a ledger. When it becomes a little bit more hard, well, then it's more from a government perspective. Um, anything which is votes, etc. But anything which is logistics oriented as well, or which goes into anything which is real estate oriented. I mean, literally having the deeds of your house, getting contracted through an actual ledger means that it is, well, literally non-fungible. I mean, you have the proof, and it cannot be there can be no other conclusion than that owner is you, and that the information that is on there is fully correct.
Yeah, that's actually one of the fascinating use cases I do find for NFTs is, how deep down the rabbit hole do we go in terms of real world ownership? I mean, it makes perfect sense when it comes to digital ownership, and if we're talking about Fortnite skins or World of Warcraft, items and stuff like that. NFTs seem to have like a very obvious use case just existing in these digital metaverses that have honestly existed for quite a long time. But as more people seek out that implementation into the real world, we start talking about car NFTs, where you have this one NFT that's bound to this one singular car. It keeps track of the accident history of it, the service records of it, and all of that. And because it's immutable and on the blockchain, you have as a buyer and a seller a lot of proof that the car has or hasn't been taken good care of, and can obviously affect the value of it. Going into houses, that's an incredibly deep conversation because, as we all know, hacks do happen. You get your wallet emptied out and whatnot, and you know what happens when someone hacks your ETH wallet or something, and steals the deed
Oh,
to
no,
your
no,
house.
no,
So
no,
they
no.
just
No, no,
no, no.
let me
I
stop
just
you right there.
yeah. Keep
Not
going because
oriented
I'm just
towards ETH. Absolutely not.
oh, okay. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no, no. These are different ledgers. These are well, to say like that, it's like you have Ethereum, but with no cryptocurrency related to it. It's purely oriented towards a ledger.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I know. I just know some people start talking, like going down that road about it being on the ETH chain. Like, let's put everything on the ETH chain. And I get some like limitations in my head being like, I don't know how well that will work, but hey, I mean, there's incredibly smart people working on all of this stuff day in and day out, and they could probably answer it a lot better than I could. Let's start to move into the P2E scene because I know that you are incredibly deep into the magic ecosystem, and of course, we're going to be talking about Copium Wars with you as well. How did that come about? What drew you to that ecosystem? And you know, uh, like where did that all start? I guess is the question I'm asking.
All right. Well, it's a double it's a double story, you know. So first of all, when it comes to Magic, I actually got rolled into it, and here's the funny part. Really pay attention to this one. So I rolled into it because I got the end project, right? From I think it was like last year, August, when Tony Snark, the actual founder of Copium Wars, when he brought that out. Um, so fast forward to when the Genesis mines opened from Treasure, from when all the different things started rolling out there. Um, Tony was like, you know what? Well, do you remember in November and December when all of those Wolf game derivatives were coming out? Do you remember that? It
Oh
was
yeah,
like
absolutely.
one after another, like
Yeah,
whale
they would
games,
just
Fox
copy
games,
pasted
copy, copy,
contracts,
copy.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And well, each and every single one was exploitable, by the way. But yeah, okay, cool. Um, so yeah, no. Tony was like, you know what? This is fun and cool and all, but let's make an actual game, right? So he had the logic finished after 2 weeks. He had the full Solidity contracts logic finished after 2 weeks, and the first actual gameplay was already finished after well in half of Jan, right? And from there, the ball really started rolling. Like, okay, how are we gonna create this? What kind of visuals do we need, et cetera, et cetera. So in I believe it was beginning of February, well, Tony asked me if I wanted to join, and I was like, well, hey, yeah, sure. I mean, if it's all fun and games, pun intended, let's do it, you know. From there, what I mostly did was well, I'm more oriented towards anything which is partner relations, integrations, or gameplay in general. Like, what could go wrong? You know, more in those terms. Um, so from there, actually, the team expanded astronomically. Actually, um, went from like 5 people in the beginning to 29 at this moment, um, which is quite humongous. I mean, for
Yeah, that's
something that
incredible.
hasn't even it
I had no
hasn't
idea.
even minted yet. So yeah, we're currently with 29 people. Yeah. And what's interesting is well, I'm kind of spilling the beans already, but it's uh, it's going to be a fully finished game when it mints. So it's not going to be some stake to earn. It's not going to be some, oh yeah, you have to wait for 2 years because we got to get everything ready with our 70 million, right, Pixelmon? Um,
I knew exactly where you were going once you started that sentence. Yeah.
hey, at least we got Kevin right.
Okay, that was the best case scenario for that project. Yeah, Kevin.
It's like consolation prize, right? Yeah, no. Nothing in the light. And also, if you get to know Tony, he's well. Actually, if you get to know the whole team, everyone has the same. I almost want to say mantra, but that sounds way too cult. They have the same philosophy, right? It's like, okay, it's cool that most of these mints are just going off of hypes, but it'd be even more cool if they would actually, give something, like in the Web 2 world. I mean, nowadays, if you look at it, most mints, they're, let's be honest, they're just for flipping, really. Um, in most cases, it's for having that community to network with, which is great. It's cool. But when it comes to the P2E, I mean, yeah, yeah, most they're just filling that liquidity pool, dumping it afterwards, and afterwards you never even hear from it again, unless it's just for shits and giggles, right? So,
Yeah, I'm assuming you're referring to things like Whale Game and
oof, yeah,
Wizards and Dragon and all of that stuff, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Not Etherworks, definitely not Etherworks. I mean, those guys are killing it, and yeah, obviously, my PFP is a derivative of a Etherworks number 424, and a small, but yeah, no, I mean, there's still good P2Es, doing a good job, but what we haven't seen yet is someone delivering an actual product. You know, I mean, look at it like this. In most cases, what you mint is a promise, right? You're minting a roadmap where people either made it up or they're very fanatic about it, but it's not right now. Um, and you're not really getting what you want at that end until, I mean, a year after or something like that. So that's where
Yeah.
the philosophy is kind of different, where we're like, okay, well, build first. We'll have everything which is normally on roadmap ready. I mean, translated into ERCs, okay, that's your 721s, so the PFPs, land, yada yada yada. That's your 1155s, the consumables, you name it, right? And that's your well, yeah, you ERC 20, which, well, in our case, it translates into cope, you know, literal copium, you know.
Right.
So yeah, no. If you look at it, I mean, that's what we're immediately dropping. But I'm hogging the mic here. I'll let you ask your questions. I'm sorry.
No, no, there no issues with that here. We're up here to talk to you. I want to talk more of big picture in terms of P2E gaming because you did mention, a lot of those liquidity pools get filled up, then they get drained. A lot of times the first and the biggest into a game, and and then the first exited, like they're the ones that make out really well. We saw that with Whale Game. I don't want to say a victim of that. I was a knowing participant of it, but sometimes we have a way of convincing ourselves that this one's going to be the one that lasts for a long time. Ether Orcs, I think, has definitely been one that's proven itself in that regard. And Whale Game, or sorry, Wolf Game to some extent. Has hung on too, and it's kind of hard to see if that's the influencer kind of side of it, kind of hanging on to things, but
Beanie.
uh, yeah, we all know who the shepherd is, right? Um, but the one thing that I always think is that at the end of the day, these games are fun in the sense that it's new, it's exciting, it's kind of like strategic gambling. It's almost like playing poker, where you're taking a certain position and you got to know when to hold them and you got to know when to fold them. That's super corny, but I'm saying it anyways. But you know I think a lot of the fun is just derived from the fact that it is a bit of a novelty right now, and as that novelty has gone on, it's become less and less fun. Raid party kind of switched it up a little bit and had some different dynamics and whatnot. But to a traditional gamer, let's say a Web 2 gamer, you come in here and go, well, this doesn't really feel like a game. I think that that's one of the things that Augmented Labs is doing really well. I think that's one of the things that EtherOrcs is doing really well. What do you see needs to happen for like traditional gamers to accept that these assets in this, as we like to call it, play and own type ecosystem, really has some benefits for them and can really encourage people to come into the space and enjoy it and participate in the ecosystem?
Well, it's kind of like asking what's the meaning of life, right? There's no, I'm
Well, if
just
you want
kidding.
to get that
Uh,
deep, I mean, I've got some time. Yeah.
yeah, that's for the next question. That's for the next answer, right? Yeah, no. It's a difficult question because there are so many variables. I mean, first of all, okay, let's first of all look at the expectations, right? And expectation management is a very important one. Um, when it comes to NFTs as we know it and gamers as they know their games, there is there is common ground in how a game can fit into that, right? Um, but one of the main issues that we're still seeing is, well, it's one simple thing actually. It's latency. And it's also infrastructure. I mean, that's two things, and they're quite combined. Latency can actually, for those who wouldn't know what that means, it's actually your ping, right? So if you're in a game, it's basically your ping, and the higher your ping, the more lag you have, right? So you want to avoid as much lag as possible. Um, Now, income the transactions. When you have transactions, I mean that just slows it down even more. I mean, you got to open your MetaMask, you got to click it, you got to go back in, boom, you got headshotted, done, game over. Yeah, no. So actually coming back to that and
I could just
giving
imagine
you
signing a transaction every time you're trying to pull a trigger in Counter Strike or something.
boom, headshot. Yeah, no. Yeah, actually, if you look at it, that's one of the issues. Second of the issues is looking into how do you keep it fun? I mean, even a simple game can be extremely fun. Look at Flappy Bird. Flappy Bird is, had thousands, if not millions, of people playing it every single day. And it's a simple game. I mean, you just tap the screen, like literally. Um, but yeah, no, I mean, when it comes to actual games and massive adoptability, which is what most NFTs strive for, what NFTs strive for, the community strives for. But yet, you know what? We're not there yet, obviously, and the main reason why we're not there yet is because, well, there's quite a lot of work that goes into actual games. If you compare, let's just say it like this: if you look at most triple A games, so whether it's more MMORPG like anything Final Fantasy oriented, or if it's more, you know, if it's more FPS oriented, so first person shooter oriented like Halo, um, like Apex, you name it, right? I mean, it takes a lot of time and it takes a huge amount of people to create just one of those games, and even to just create one DLC package, right? And getting that on the more popular networks also means that there needs to be an interaction with those popular networks. If you want to do something on the side, that's fine, but you're gonna need a lot of marketing, you know. And even though there's a lot of liquidity within the crypto scene, not all of that liquidity is going to go to marketing. I mean, that would be insane because you put nothing into your resources, right? So yeah, I mean, long story short, and getting back to a little bit less of the issues, getting more into the solutions. As soon as we see that those larger companies, and I'm talking the Square Enix of this world, Ubisoft's, Blizzard, you name it. Um, Once they really start adopting blockchain technology and start adopting, easier ways than just using MetaMask, we'll see a lot more of the actual adoption. But for the time being, I mean, let's just say it like this: it's like we're back in 1990, right? I mean, we had Doom, we had Quake, we had cool games like that. Okay, they weren't, they were Call of Duty like nowadays, but there wasn't the infrastructure nor the technology to do so. So what we are doing within the NFT scene is, well, basically we're just in the 90s right now. In some
I,
cases, the 80s even, playing
I think
Pong.
that's such I think that's such a great point, and I think it kind of goes back to your like that idea of that you said managing expectations and how important that is in the scene. I mean, I know you come from that time, and I do as well. I remember playing the first Wolfenstein game on
Oof.
the PC and the original Doom and all of that stuff. And like, I mean, those are groundbreaking things at the time. When you look back, those are things that didn't age super well, other than for pure nostalgia value, but it did take a long time because the technology wasn't there yet. And I mean, they were really pushing the limits of what was possible at the time. Now that we are in this digital internet age, and we're so accustomed to things happening immediately. I mean, you can flip on Netflix and watch whatever show you want immediately. You can turn on Spotify and listen to whatever song you want, literally, that is almost in existence is on there, and you can turn that on and play it. I mean, and I'm sure you remember the days where you actually had to listen to the radio and you got excited when a song came on, or you had to even just spend the time rewinding a tape forward and backwards trying to find the song on the actual album and stuff like that. These are problems that don't exist anymore, but because of that immediacy, we do get um, that when mentality. And I'm not really criticizing anybody in terms of that. It's good to go in and hold people accountable, make sure that if you were minting an NFT or buying an NFT on a premise and a promise, that the team is around working on it and delivering on that. But as you said, in terms of AAA games like MMOs, and you talk about like Cyberpunk or these big grand experiences that often would fit really well with NFTs. I mean, those things take years on technology that already exists. They know how to manipulate it and code for it very well. They have huge teams, huge amounts of funding, and it still takes them years to build that. You start to translate that into a new technology like on Ethereum or Solana or some of these L2s and whatnot. And you multiply and compound the problems. There's all kinds of new problem solving that has to go into that because literally nobody's done it before. You mentioned Square Enix. They're ones that are really pointing their ship towards the Web3 and the NFT space. I think there's going to be a convergence in the middle of smaller. I'm going to say smaller projects like us. Where we'll be viewed as the indie kind of developers and whatnot, and these big AAA studios start to kind of meet us in the middle. But I thought that was a really great point, just about the expectations and the technology not really even there yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And you do make a point, by the way, because there's actually going to be two games launching on the PlayStation Network that will have not a purist blockchain integration, but to which you'll be able to use certain NFTs. You know, that should be in Q4, beginning of Q4, so September, October, somewhere around that.
Which ones are those? I actually haven't heard about that.
I'll DM you that.
Oh, that's a secret. It's okay. That's not public knowledge. I gotcha. All right. Well, I'll look forward um, to that. Well, let's transition that conversation into Copium Wars. What do you guys got going on in that game that you're really excited about? That's kind of maybe pushing the limits of some of the P2E games. And how are you managing expectations within your community around it?
Yeah, well, uh, that's a never-ending story, right? Yeah,
Yeah, a little bit of a
actually,
loaded question. I just wanted to throw it. Just here, you go. You take it.
yeah, no, actually, if you look into it, there's basically two phases, right? There's phase one where you're where we're which we actually concluded now, by the way, where we had a hope system, right? So there's hope and there's cope, right? I mean, like in any degen life. Yeah, no, so we basically had the hope system where we were doing several missions where we were doing several things so people would actually get accustomed to having it a little bit. I'm gonna say weird because it's not normal, because it's not the standard, hey, here's a giveaway, here you go, here's your whitelist. No, people actually had to fight and duel for their freaking spot, you know. Um they were losing hope, or some even abandoned it.
In a
Um
diabolical way, it's kind of fun to sit up on the perch and watch it all
oh
happen, though,
man.
right?
Oh, yeah, actually, it's gonna get even more fun. So basically, the last mission of that phase one was asking people if they had zero, less than five, or more than five alt accounts within the server. And we actually have a multitude of data points with which we know that people are actually, having bot accounts in there, or having alt accounts in there, or traded their whitelists, by accidentally losing between quotations their Discord account. Um, so basically, we were giving people a chance to redeem themselves, right? And to say, you know what, fine, I've got less than five accounts. Fine, I've got more than five accounts. I mean, either way, you know what? There people with more than five accounts. I'm sorry if you're listening here, but if you got more than five accounts in the Copium Wars server, get ready for something big, because we basically have a full-blown system in which we identified people with 100 accounts. We've identified people with even 200, even one guy with 800 accounts, by the way. I got to say kudos for managing that. I mean, even with a script. Um, But yeah,
That's incredible to me. Like, as somebody who mints and participates in projects, I don't think I'd ever want to be holding that amount of them. You know
well,
what I mean? Like, it's
yeah,
just like
no, actually, no. I mean,
having a
look at
robust ecosystem with many participants is really important.
yeah, yeah. I mean, a whole distribution, obviously. I mean, here's the interesting part: is that as we know who those people are, and as we know who those accounts are, there's quite an easy way to make sure that they won't be going through, right?
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm all ears.
I want to drop that dramatic pause
Yeah,
there.
he's
Yeah,
pulling
no.
the hammer out.
Yeah, no, no. Basically, it's gonna be hilarious. I mean, we're expecting people to be, I mean, especially those people with like 100 accounts in there, just trying to grind for that whitelist with 100 accounts. We're expecting multiple of those, just trying to FUD, trying to whine about it on Twitter. But hey, you know what? You do something like that, you get your fingers burned. It's quite simple, at a certain point in time it won't keep working. So with this system that we've put in place, we'll actually be selling that to well, selling and helping out certain projects that are partners with setting up a similar system. So that
Yeah,
way,
I was going to say that sounds like a pretty valuable tool for this
yep,
space too. Just to add a layer of fairness to the people that only are participating either moralistically they only have one in there, or even just from an honest like time sense, like they only really have time to manage just one Discord, and just getting on allow lists is hard enough as it is. It's always I know very frustrating for people to see somebody with 800 accounts botting the shit out of a project, right? And I think that
exactly.
that's an incredible tool that you guys are working on too, even just aside from it.
Yeah, exactly. So getting back to your initial question, your initial remark about those P2E games where the liquidity pool just gets drained, gets decimated absolutely, and the NFTs they just get they get sold for 0.001 of profit. Um, yeah, no, that's not gonna happen actually, because, well, first of all, I'm gonna get back to what the actual mint price is, but it's a free mint. Um, it's an unboundable token, but I'll get into those details because that's a different story. But yeah, no, so it's a free mint. So technically, if we had even one person minting 800 of these, yeah, that's not gonna look too good, too shabby, especially in terms of people getting an enormous amount of that ERC20 just from farming, just from even just from passive, you know. So yeah, no, we got that covered. Um, so that should be for this weekend that we'll see that spectacle. And that's just
You
phase
gotta
one.
ping me when it's all going down because I
Oh
wanna
yeah,
watch it.
I mean, as soon as you're gonna open Twitter, you're most likely gonna see it.
Love it.
um, yeah, no, so that's for phase one. Phase two is actually the full-blown game. So remember when I said that anything, well, remember when I said that everything in terms of ERCs, in terms of the actual game, will be ready? Well, that's going to be what people will be seeing after they mint it, immediately after they mint it. Um, so basically, as soon as you mint, you're gonna mint land, right? Because the game in itself, to give you more of an idea of what the game looks like. So imagine Age of Empires. Imagine Warcraft, right? Uh,
Now you're talking
but
my
with
language. Yeah, I'm in.
right. See you on the battlefield. Yeah, no. So imagine those types of games with tiles. Okay, pixelated. Fine, we're going back to pixelated. It's not AAA quality like you've seen with StarCraft or StarCraft 2, but yet things like that. But still, good stuff. And definitely high quality in terms of the pixel artists. I gotta admit, I mean, there's 6 people working on graphics department. Yeah, that's insane. Um, so as soon as you're gonna mint land. Once you drop in, basically your main goal, and that's your main goal, is gonna be to get to the middle. But obviously, it'd be too easy if you just could get on that full map. So that full map, by the way, it's 27 times 27, right? 27 times 27 tiles. Um, but getting to the middle isn't going to be that easy because you're going to be dropped in a map with a lot of other people, and you're going to get a choice to either work together with those people to get to the middle, so work together with other people against other people, or just solo it and just go Leroy Jenkins on that on that. Um, Either way, there's going to be other things on that map that will catch people's eyes because obviously it'd be too silly of a game if we let people immediately go to the middle after conquering land, after setting up their armies, after setting up their let's say their farming methods. I'm not gonna drop the actual name because it's that'd be a little bit too much alpha for the moment.
Yeah, you got to keep
Um,
some things under lock and
gotta
key. I
yeah
totally get
yeah yeah
that.
gotta keep some things from you, right? Yeah, no. So basically, uh, we've got. Well, you know what? I actually dropped it in another alpha chat. Well, in alpha chat. I'm sorry, in another AMA. Um, so I can basically drop it here as well. On the map, there will be banners, right? And those banners will actually be, um, well, imagine it like this. It's like a flag. It has the logo of certain of our partners, and actually, if you just, if you use search on Twitter here, you'll probably find a few of those flags lying around. Um, and basically, what's on those flags is well, it's going to be something you want, and sometimes you'll get it. So it's an RNG thing, right? Sometimes you'll get it, sometimes you won't. It's sheer luck, right? Or you'll just get cope. You get to cope. You know, that's the ERC 20 again.
I'm good at
Um,
that.
yeah, good at coping. Me too. Me too. I'm gonna be like the cope whale here. Yeah. No. So basically, yeah. Just to put that into perspective, actually, I know a lot of people have asked already in terms of okay, so in terms of tokenomics, is everything cool? Um, do you have your burners? Do you have your faucets, your sinks, yada yada yada? Yeah, we do. I mean, we looked into everything. We've actually already play tested the game on well, we've actually play tested the game already on several well, no. Yeah, no, okay, yeah, several chains. I have to say several chains um, to see which one would be most suitable, etc., etc. So yeah, long story short, I'm not gonna say it's gonna be waterproof. I'm not gonna say, yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is gonna go to the moon, yada yada yada. I'm just gonna say that we have tested everything that needed to be tested, and it works, and it's cool, and it's real time. You know, you can actually kick people's asses on the blockchain. Well, with graphics, obviously, but on the blockchain with you know with NFTs. I mean, what's
That was going to be my next question. Is all of this happening in real time? Because I know you mentioned
real time?
Age of Empire. Incredible! I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah, real time. So that's the cool thing is, um, so in that on that map, when you encounter, let's just think about this. You're on that map. FMC is on that map as well. You hate his guts because he just, he kicked your ass in a different region, and you're like, okay, you know what? I'm out for revenge, right? So you call in the help of someone else, and you're like, you know what? He's a whale. Let's kick his ass. Um, so what you do is you conquer the tiles to get to him, right? So you conquer the land to get to him. You amass your army, And once you get to him, you can start kicking his ass together with the other person, right? And that's in real time. Obviously, yes, there will be transactions, and it won't be super fast paced either. I mean, don't think that you're gonna play a full map in 2 hours. That's not gonna happen. Well, it could, but if it does, I mean, damn.
Well, that's actually what I was also wondering too. Like, what's the time frame of like a game that kind of transpires to get to the middle, as you said?
Actually, it could be infinity.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
If people are very strategic, it could last for a very long time until one of them either gives up or wasn't careful enough, you know. But it could really last a long time because you can keep taking another person's land, right? So the Genesis land, you cannot take that. Just to make that clear in terms of the game, the Genesis land you cannot take, but the tiles or the land that you have conquered, yeah, other people can conquer that back with a part of the resources, of course.
Right. I man, it sounds like fun. I have known about this for a while and do want to. Oh, I think Akon just got rugged. Um, I have known about this project for a while, and it has always been very exciting. And of course, when somebody like Akon is attached to it, you got to make sure that you pay attention. Icon, sorry, I keep calling him Akon. Um, there he is. Like I was saying, yeah, you got to pay attention to it, and you gotta take it seriously. But even just listening to Icon talk about it is fun. Let's. I think you got rugged
Twitter
there. I'm not
just
sure if
said,
you were in the middle of a
well,
thought.
I just got a message from Twitter saying, stop giving so much damn alpha.
They're
So
like,
yeah,
get this
okay.
guy off here.
Thanks, Elon. Uh,
Well, I'm gonna ask for a little bit more alpha, but this is probably more well known. You already mentioned that it is a free mint that's going down. What when are we looking at this all hitting the blockchain and popping off?
right. So before I get to the when, I'm first going to explain the how, because what's interesting is, yeah, it's a free mint, but um, flippers beware. uh, Everyone's going to be able to free mint and play the game as much as they want, you know. And don't worry in terms of the gas. So first of all, your mint is going to be on L1, right? Um, your gameplay is going to be on L2. So no worries in terms of that. But in terms of flipping and selling on OpenSea, yeah, no. What we actually did was we created an unboundable token. So this is new. That this has not been seen anywhere before, and no one has ever even tried something like this. Basically, it means you mint for free, and when you want to sell, that's when you pay for an unlocking fee, right? So once you pay that
Oh,
oh
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, I see. Yeah. I thought you were gonna be like going down this like soulbound token that people have been
Well,
talking about, which is
yeah,
never tradable. But yeah.
yeah. I mean, we were initially thinking that, but afterwards we're like, yeah, dude, we just fronted quite a lot of money to quite a few people. Um, so we basically bootstrapped this whole operation for the full blown game. So we were like, mm, you know what, Vitalik, unless you're gonna be, kicking us a few, doing kickback to us with a few ETH, yeah, it's gonna be hard to do this on 0.00 liquidity, right? Um, because we also want to keep on delivering, right? I mean, it's not because the game gets delivered that we're there like, hey, you know what, guys, cool. Here's your NFTs. Here's everything. See ya. Yeah, no, that's definitely not the objective. Um, so coming back to the unboundable tokens, yeah, so there is that fee. Is it gonna be like 2 or 3 ETH? No, guys, you're not buying Moonbird, right? Um, no, so basically it's gonna be less than zero point 0.1. I can't say the exact price yet, but okay, guys, if you know that we're very degen oriented, and if you know that it's I'm gonna say it like this, if you know that everything is purely crypto within the crypto theme, yeah, you can think of a few numbers, right? Um, so yeah, basically that's the price there. The when that's an you know what, that's an interesting one. We just finished alpha version 4, I believe we're at now. Whatever. We just finished the alpha version. We're gonna do a quick beta test with a few people from the community. If a few influencers want to join on it, that's cool. We're gonna let them. And basically, after that beta test, and that's gonna be a public beta test, by the way. But after that beta test, we're immediately launching.
So that sounds like your time frame is soon-ish. Like I know you guys are working fast and hard over there.
Well,
So it's one of those things. Just got to keep an eye out and be active in the Discord and find out what's going on.
it's like Mike Tyson would say, "Thune."
Anytime you can bring it back to Mike Tyson, I'm in. Icon, this has been great. Is there anything else that you want to talk about before we start to wrap this up? We're just about to hit an hour. I know time flies when you're up here chatting about
Oof.
the things you love. Anything else that you want to touch on, whether it's like greater P2E scene or about Copium Wars or anything like that?
Yeah, no, actually, there, there's. I'm gonna say in terms of the greater scene, I just want to say to the people who are listening, um, even though things might sound or look quite gloom and down and whatever, except if you were into UST and Luna, I'm very sorry for you. But d- don't let it get down. Don't let it get you down too much, you know, because we've seen way too many of these bears, and especially this type of scale with anything happening on the macro scale. Um, don't take too much heed from it. Honestly, if you can, just literally hunker down, have fun. If it doesn't feel like fun anymore, well, it's like every single influencer says, touch grass. You know. But other than that, yeah, no, nothing else to add. Unless you have any other questions, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm great. I've got a real sense of excitement for Copium Wars again. I remember you talking about it a while ago, but I mean it's a great point with the market being down. There's lots of ways to keep yourself busy, and not all of them even have to do anything with Web3 and NFTs. Always good to remember that there's a world out there as well that you can touch grass on. Um, but yeah, like you said, unless it was the Luna and the UST fiasco where you really got your shirt taken off, just hold tight. I think it's there's a battle between this being a very short-lived scenario and a very long-lived scenario, and I think we're watching it kind of figure itself out in real time as to where that's going to go. And most people don't have the answers, and if you ask 10 different experts, you'll get 10 different answers as to how long and when and where. But I mean, the important thing is that you can still use this time productively. There's still lots of great projects that are launching, that are building, that are growing, and it's this is where you can really find some gems. In all way, shapes, or form, they're definitely out there, and a lot of them are on sale right now. So, no, I think it's very important to put it all in perspective, and I appreciate you doing that. Um, I appreciate your time, Icon. It's always good to chat, and we will definitely have you back up on here again to go through some stuff, maybe with more of a panel as well, so that those conversations are great too. It's always so much fun to put a bunch of founders together in the same room and just kind of let them talk through it. Those conversations completely drive themselves, and they're always great to have. So yeah, I appreciate your time so much. Just so anybody listening listening knows, if you did show up late, as always, these are recorded and we're going to throw them up there. We'd love for you to share it for your the Copium Wars community if they want to listen to it. And yeah,
You
we'll be
sure?
back.
Because I'm not seeing the recording button.
Oh, I recorded on the back end actually, and then just give it.
Okay. I was like,
You know what? Twitter recording is great, but it disappears in 30 days.
yeah,
And
yeah.
there's no way to actually draw that file off of Twitter. So if you want to keep it with any kind of permanency, like you would have to record it on the back end by just playing it over and letting it run anyways. So it's very awkward. So we just skip that step and just go right to that. So I'll make sure to get you a link for that as well.
Oh, dude, that'd be awesome. I love the sound of my own voice.
You get used to
I'm
it,
just kidding.
unless you the sultry sounds of Aikon. Yeah, picture you as a late night jazz radio host or something. It's perfect. But yeah, I appreciate you. I guess it's getting pretty late your time too. I don't know. I'm somebody that goes to bed pretty early, so if this is past your bedtime, I appreciate it.
I'm pouring myself another gin, and afterwards, it's
Oh,
straight to the hitting the
a man
hitting the
after my own
hay.
heart.
Yeah.
All right, my friend. On that note, I'm gonna go pour myself a gin and kick the rest of my Thursday off. Great talking to you, Icon. We will do this again soon. Thank you so much for everybody that tuned in. It's always very humbling to know that people want to come up here and listen to us talk. That's what we're here for, though. We're gonna be back on Monday on Twitter Spaces for Moon Mondays, of course, as always. And then next week we will be back on the Thursday with another Terrestrial Thursday panel coming at you talking about all things play to earn. Guys, we love you. If you're new to Star Wolves, make sure you hop in the Discord. Come say hi. We always want to hear from you, chat with you, engage with you. The team is all very active in there, and we love just being right on the ground floor with all of the community. So on that
Hey,
note,
let's not forget. Good luck at the tables.
oh, thank you. Yes, I knew something was missing in my life. Icon slipping in free markets moniker there for the first time today. Nice call there, my friend. All right, guys. On that note, we are going to wrap this up. Howl.